Joined now by Wyoming Senator John Barrasso, chairman of the Senate Western Caucus and a member of two key committees for energy and natural resources, as well as the environment and public works. Good to have you here, Senator.
Thanks for having me, Martha.
Charles Krauthammer, as often, makes a very interesting point. He's saying if you can't get the world to sort of cooperate in this, you have China emitting an enormous amount of pollution into the air. Does it help if we're doing this on our own?
Well, I think Charles Krauthammer is absolutely right. The costs of what the president is proposing cost the American people significantly in terms of higher energy costs, as well as cost to people who are looking for jobs. We know that this is something that will hurt our economy, make it harder for people looking for work to find work. And I would say to the President of the United States, if this is your position, then don't be afraid to bring it to the United States Senate. We have an energy efficiency bill on the floor right now. Let's have a vote on what you're proposing, because, Martha, even when the Senate had 60 Democrats a few years ago, President Obama didn't bring this to a vote in the Senate. He couldn't get it done because there is bipartisan opposition to what President Obama is proposing.
You know, it's interesting that the president is making this pivot. It's being called a pivot to the environment now. You know, in terms of priorities and legislation and what's going on in Washington and going on across the country, you know, how do you feel about that in terms of the political focus that's being put on it right now?
Well, the focus should be on getting people to work, getting people back to work. Jobs and the economy are such a big part of what's on the American people's minds, in addition to health care, where they feel they're paying more and getting less. But what the president is proposing is going to make it harder for people to get back to work. We all want to make energy as clean as we can, as fast as we can, and do it in ways that don't raise energy costs for American families and don't hurt the economy relative to what's happening around the world. And that's why we've come out, our Western Conference has come out with a report specifically talking about Washington getting it wrong on environmental issues and the states getting it right. In Wyoming, one of the most beautiful places in the world, we focus a lot on protecting our environment and at the same time using the resources that we've been given to help our people, to help our communities, to help our state.
It's interesting to me because you say that you think this would lack bipartisan support. So, you know, why is the president pushing it if he can't really make it happen? And then I look at the Keystone Pipeline issue, which has a fair amount of bipartisan support, and the president seems to be not interested in that.
Well, I agree with you, Martha. The president seems to be held hostage by the extreme left, the focus of the individuals who are his key donors, who have promised to help him try to maintain control of the Senate. The individual from San Francisco who's promised $100 million to the Democrats to help elect or re-elect Democrat senators who believe in these things that the president is talking about, but I believe are things that would hurt our economy, make it harder for people to get back to work, and would raise energy costs on American families. None of that is good for our country or our economy.
Senator, thank you. Always good to talk to you.
Thanks for having me.